We watch it on a regular basis. We've all dreamed of playing there at some point. The Rocket League Championship Series allows only the best of the best to play at the top. And to be part of the top, it takes more than countless of hours grinding and rank perfecting your flip resets. Since at least the rank of Diamond, every player tried to educate themselves about the basics of rotations. Eventually, we all want to hit the rank of Supersonic Legend, right? But until you start to play Rocket League competitively in some way, you don't even realize how many hours coaches invest into their team developing all kinds of strategies. That's why I sat down and watched through the RLCS EU Championship Finals between Team Vitality and Team BDS. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know the patterns of Team Vitality's playstyle and wanted to know what the habits of each players are. I wanted to know how Team Vitality, after 1 win and 11 losses throughout the season against Team BDS, managed to take down the Titans in Team BDS and win it all to become champions of Europe. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Before we get into the patterns of Team Vitality, let's start things off by talking about some of the basics. Good positioning and good spacing is getting misjudged very often. By that I don't mean that players don't realize how important good positioning is, but rather most players tend to underrate how big that topic is and how much there is to learn. Rotation is nothing else than option coverage. It is the task of a team to cover available options on the field and decide in a matter of seconds which options are top priority. Good positioning results in more pace the team plays with, because players have a better angle to the play to be faster and hit the ball with much more power. This clip is a great example. Rather than remaining close to the goal waiting for the pass, Kaydop increases his chances of scoring by taking a much wider turn, so that he's moving the same direction as the ball, which is towards the net. Doing that, Kaydop is not only faster to the ball, but also able to hit the ball with much more power and precision. With that in mind, let's watch this clip again. So the positioning of a player directly affects the pace of the play and the whole team. To be able to help your team to play faster, you should start caring about your positioning and spacing instead of boosting across the map with supersonic speed. Every player on the pitch covers a certain area. The more boost and momentum a player has, the larger is the area he has a direct impact on. If you want to learn more about that, watch Word's video about rotation. If a player doesn't have boost or momentum but is still on the ball, his team can buy him some time by removing opponents from the field. Because of that, the space covered by the opponents decreases. In the following clip, Fairy Peak receives the ball, but he's not able to do that much with it. So instead of rotating back, Kaydop demos MonkeyMoon, which forces Extra to cut in and help out Mark on the defense. Now, this might not be the best example, but it shows when it is a good time to go for a demolition. If there is no opportunity to take down opponents, players can still avoid space of opponents like Kaydop does here. Looking at this, one could think that Kaydop should have taken the shot, but MonkeyMoon respawns after he got demoed on the other side of the goal and will be back in the net in time. Instead of running into a 1v1 versus MonkeyMoon, he turns right, avoids the confrontation with MonkeyMoon and with a little bit of help from Extra, pinches it into the middle to Fairy Peak, which then results into the goal we watched earlier for Team Vitality to win the game. In every game of Rocket League, opponents give up space at some point. This can happen due to a double commit, for example. If two players double commit, not only are both players out of the play, but both players' spaces of impact overlap, which reduces the overall space the team can cover. As soon as opponents double commit, your team needs to spread out and gain space. In this example, Kaydop is pushing outfield as soon as he notices that Team BDS double commit. By doing that, he widens the build-up play for his team, even though Vitality didn't score on that opportunity. Let's move on to the next point. Rotating back quickly doesn't necessarily mean that the team is playing a passive playstyle. Rotating back quickly allows you to attack sooner because you're way earlier in position to challenge the ball. In this clip, it is a kickoff between both teams. You can see that the ball pinches towards the sidewall, but slightly into the half of Team Vitality, which makes it impossible for Alpha to beat MonkeyMoon, as Alpha is directly underneath the ball. So instead of just taking the mid boost, he rushes back, takes the back boost and immediately covers the backboard. Because Kaydop covers the net, there is no way for MonkeyMoon to score or even make it close to dangerous for Vitality. So Alpha passes the ball to Fairypeak, who then starts the counterattack. So Vitality avoided pressure of the kickoff by going back quickly to then counterattack. If you are looking for something to improve on for yourself, you should stop thinking that you are not part of the rotation at any time. Many players tend to ignore the play when they rotate back because that is the only thing they have in mind. Instead of doing that, always keep your eyes peeled for a situation you need to participate in. Here, Fairypeak realizes that Kaydop is too late to catch the ball on the backboard, so Fairy stops his rotation and takes the ball to take it away from MonkeyMoon, who is about to take the dangerous shot on target. Something that Team Vitality does all the time is counterattacking with a centered man being the follow-up for a middle pass, whereas the one in the corner follows up as a third. Let's take a closer look at Team Vitality's corner play. In this situation, their counterattack gets cancelled by Team BDS effectively, which leaves Alpha and Fairy in the same corner. Rather than going back post, Alpha rotates behind Fairy while still remaining front post. Kaydop, on the other hand, stays behind both of them the whole time. This allows Fairy and Alpha to challenge the ball and follow up the ball very quickly. As soon as either Fairy or Alpha pushes out of the half, Kaydop follows in the middle, ready for a pass. Rocket League is a very fast-paced game, which means that you need to have momentum to keep yourself in the play. Now, you might think that it is impossible to always have momentum because you're waiting for the shot or whatever. And that's true. Sometimes it can be very difficult to keep momentum, especially when your opponents have all the pressure. In this case, Fairy gets space behind Kaydop by moving very close behind him. As soon as he reaches Kaydop, he turns around. At this point, Fairypeak's only responsibility is to cover the net and maybe the backboard. Right after that, Alpha moves out to support Kaydop on the follow-up. By doing that, Vitality has always the possibility to relocate the play to the other side of the field, as Fairypeak is in prime position to save the ball and to hit the ball towards the right side, which is fairly uncovered by Team BDS. You can use this knowledge for your individual game as well. Take a look at this next clip. Instead of staying in the net and waiting for the shot, Fairypeak moves out of the net because he knows he has enough time for it, as MonkeyMoon's shot will not be that powerful from his position. By moving out of the net, he has more momentum to save shots. He can collect 1 or 2 pads on his way, and he has more options to take control of the ball, either on the wall or on the ground. If he was sitting in the net, he could have only cleared the ball, which is not necessarily bad, but then the ball would be in the possession of Team BDS right away. Now it is time to talk about their final 2 main patterns. Let's start with the defensive side, shall we? Vitality almost all of the time plays with an offensive-oriented triangle, with 2 players on the wings and 1 in the back center. If they are on transition from offense to defense, the middleman goes straight into the net and remains here for a moment. First, it's the player's turn who are on the wings. If a booming clear comes into the half of Vitality, one of the players on the side goes up and relocates the play to the other side. This player then can either catch or dribble it, or get a booming clear. In both scenarios, the defender that has been covering the net up until this point moves out and supports the first man. This allows Vitality to immediately move out and counterattack without suffering under pressure on defense. Another way to play this formation is by having the center back meeting the ball and pass it to one of his teammates who are already on the sidewall. But this triangle does not only work on defense. Vitality uses it on offense as well. In this scenario, the mid pass and follow-up is covered by Kaydop. The clear to the left side is also covered by Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak now brings the ball back into the danger zone, which makes Alpha the next player to challenge, while Kaydop rotates out front post to grab boost and then support his team again. This way, Vitality always have someone ready on offense to take the ball and strike, which makes them so dangerous. So dangerous, in fact, that they only dropped 2 games against Team BDS in 2 best-of-7 series. Team BDS got overwhelmed by that aggression, which led to Vitality winning it all. Now, I know that this video cannot contain every single detail of strategy, simply because I am not a qualified coach to judge. Moreover, in such high-pressure situations like a grand final, many things come down to intuition, which makes it harder to analyze. I still hope that you guys could learn something new, and maybe found something that you can implement in your own game. That being said, my name is Chris, thanks for watching.
It's gonna be down to and Team Vitality are your European champions!
Can you believe it? Vitality have done it.